Welcome back. Back in July 2006, there was a great deal of fanfare when the road to heaven, the Qinghai Tibetan Railway, opened to traffic. In fact, the opening was the final stage in the project that had begun many decades before. Work on the Xining to Golmud section of the line had actually started way back in 1958. And when the railway finally reached Tibet, among those responsible were the sons and daughters of some of the regional railway workers.
On June the 29th, 2001, a crowd of people gathered by the Lhasa River in Tibet to celebrate a unique moment in history, the launch of the Qinghai Tibetan Railway construction project. With the sound of the drill, work on the road to heaven, which had been suspended for 22 years, began once again. With the start of the new century, the Qinghai Tibetan Railway, the fulfillment of the hopes and dreams of several generations, started to grow again. The Qinghai Tibetan Railway is 1,956 kilometers long. The latest section from Golmud to Lhasa is 1,110 kilometers. The railway heads southward along the Golmud River and up into the Kunlun Mountains. It passes through Kekeshili and Fenghuo Mountains, across the Tortu River, through the Tanggulai Mountains, Danxun and Yangbajing Valley, before finally reaching Lhasa. The 1,000-kilometer stretch of railway crosses several major rivers and passes through a number of mountains. It also has to negotiate a 550-kilometer-long stretch of plateau tundra at an altitude of over 4,000 meters, as well as several nature reserves inhabited by such protected species as Tibetan antelopes and black-necked cranes. The railway designers were confronted with numerous difficulties, including the high altitude, the tundra, and the vulnerable ecosystem. The feasibility and design work for the Qinghai Tibetan Railway was initiated as early as 1955. The task was entrusted to the No. 1 Investigation and Design Institute under the Ministry of Railways, which was known as the China Northwest Railway Design Institute at the time. In the past 50 years, designers have climbed onto the plateau numerous times to collect data on its complex and fickle geology, hydrology, and climate. Construction of the Qinghai Tibetan Railway originally began in 1959. The railway builders had to battle the harsh natural conditions on the remote highland several hundred kilometers east of Golmud. However, not long after the work began, the project had to be suspended because of difficulties with the national economy caused by the 3-year natural disaster. Even though the construction work has been suspended, designers never halted their investigation. In 2000, when news began to spread that work would soon begin on the section from Golmud to Lhasa, the designers of a new generation took up the baton and returned to the plateau. The highest point in Tanggulai Mountains is 5,000 meters above sea level. The climate is harsh and fickle, and high altitude, low temperature, and lack of oxygen pose many risks.
In 安多干那个无人区时候，那半个队有那20来个，就躺那儿吸着氧气，吊瓶子，就是缺氧啊。安多啊，上去安多4700啊。我说走，我上去。我岁数比他们大得多，我说你看我没事，咱们第2天就出工。哎呀，你这个宽限，再给我们1天调整的时间，就这样子。然后我说行，我等你们1天。第2天，我走，跟着我进，那头一次进去。
The distance between Xining and Lhasa is 1,956 kilometers, but it took several generations at the Design Institute nearly half a century to complete the investigation and design of the railway. In June 2001, after the No. 1 Investigation and Design Institute completed the plan for the whole length of the railway, the construction of the section from Golmud to Lhasa officially got underway. The railway builders threw themselves enthusiastically into their task.
不来车啊，这个。
进来以后，一个咱们前面放小车，是吧？可以。
Lei Ding is 55 years old. He is an engineer and the leader of the No. 2 company with the 22nd Bureau of the China Railway Construction Corporation. His father was a senior officer in the old railway army. The primary task assigned to the No. 2 company was the ballast trimming. Lei Ding has been working in ballast trimming for 30 years. He has led teams that have taken part in the construction of many challenging railways, such as the Nanjiang Railway in Xinjiang and the Nankun Railway in Yunnan. On the Qinghai Tibetan Railway, his team was in charge of the ballast trimming along the peaks of the Tanggula Mountains, where the extreme altitude made the job particularly difficult.
1毫米，咱们再往前。
曲线超高31，高1毫米。
Lei Ding took with him a team of workers more than 20 strong. He swore to bring them all back safe and sound.
这个一看就能干，那个刮大风的时候，他。
3 decades before, Lei Ding's father had also brought a team of workers to the plateau. They had helped complete the 856-kilometer Xining-Golmud Railway, although it cost 309 young lives. The total length of the Qinghai Tibet Railway is 1,956 kilometers. The section to be built between Golmud and Lhasa would be 1,100 kilometers long. The starting point of the railway is in fact Xining and not Golmud. In 1974, 100,000 soldiers from the old railway army came to the plateau and started the construction between Xining and Golmud. This section is located on the northern border of the Qinghai Tibet Plateau, where the average altitude is over 3,000 meters. The high altitude, along with the low temperatures, the lack of oxygen and water, and the regular sandstorms, all posed a serious threat to the soldiers' lives.
帐篷扎的离公路有20米，在公路的南面。 第二天早上一起床，那顶帐篷没了，没了。我说怎么没了嘞？不会有人偷啊？这家伙，说老话，你安个帐篷，你就那边安个保险柜也没人去拿的。他没有人拿去。风刮走了，我赶紧找啊，找出去以后5公里多，最少有5公里，最少有5公里，找出去。 帐篷翻着活的，滚出去有10来里路。
这个当时呢，这个地方就没有任何这个淡水，全部呢都是用汽车从格尔木拉过来的。这个拉一车水来了，主要要保证食堂做饭。完了以后呢，一个班呢提上那么2桶水，然后呢一个星期呢再刷牙洗脸啊。因为这个盐湖里面这个施工呢，当时部队发的那种解放鞋，带这个胶鞋。 这个盐巴一出汗干活，盐巴粘在上面，那个鞋子啊，全就发硬，硬到什么程度？就像那个汽车的轮胎，就那种，必须要用淡水洗，但是没水洗。像这样的话，时间长了，战士的脚就都磨烂了。
In the first stage of the 864-kilometer Xining-Golmud Railway, the key task and the most challenging was constructing the Guanjiao Tunnel. The 4,010-meter-long Guanjiao Tunnel was at the time the highest railway tunnel in the world. Before the arrival of the railway army, a team of engineers had already dug 2,551 meters of it, but the work had been suspended due to the complexity of the geological conditions. After running through the Guanjiao mountain divide, the tunnel heads downwards, following the direction of the rock bed. This meant that it would encounter constant changes in the rock quality, as well as 11 faults. Moreover, because the previous constructors had failed to waterproof the tunnel, the soldiers of the railway army found large amounts of water inside it. None of the old railway soldiers will ever forget what happened on April the 5th, 1975. Disaster struck all of a sudden when 127 soldiers of Brigade 47 were working at a site 1,000 meters inside the tunnel entrance.
当时的话就说的话，这个从长子面一直到后面的工作面的话，有120多个。 干部职工的话，在里面施工的了。他突然的话，从这中间就来了个塌方，一个大塌方的话，几十米一个大塌方，整个就没住了。但是这个人员的话，他当时的话，到底死了多少人，谁也不清楚。
In order to rescue the workers, who in fact numbered 127, soldiers rushed to the scene from all along the 800-kilometer railway. Helicopters were dispatched to take part in the rescue operation.
就是及时的研究了一种最快捷的一种营救办法，就是从这个洞的一侧，最薄的，就是地面离洞内最薄的一个地方，要开一个斜洞。这个斜洞当时开的就说是直径呢大概有个60公分高，也就是说仅容纳一个人进去的一个小洞。
最后就是把钢管两边钢管打进去蓄氧。 两边就说是1.8米，动不了机器嘛，就是1.8米。
石头的话，妈的，有些战士的话，那指甲都没有了都。
最后拔出一个洞来，就是一个个的出来，但是一个。
After a rescue operation lasting 14 hours, all 127 soldiers were rescued. Eventually, the construction of the Guanjiao Tunnel would take 4 years. Because of the difficult geological conditions and the poor technical support, many collapses occurred during the construction. Although the 127 soldiers in the one collapse did survive, another 25 soldiers sacrificed their lives building the tunnel. The bodies of the 25 young soldiers will remain forever with Guanjiao Mountain. Their souls will keep silent guard over the railway. When the first train passed here on the Qinghai Tibet Railway, the echo of its horn must have been the greatest possible comfort to those young men who sacrificed their lives.